Right. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Help Matters here on WAW Shout 94.7, the voice of the gospel truth. If you don't hear us now, you ain't listening. I go back later and listen. We're going to be talking about, we're still on the subject of the journey, your journey to wellness. So, guess what? We're talking about behavior change because that's where it starts in the thoughts, in your mind. Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
You are listening to WAAW Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth.
This is the day the Lord has made.
And we're going to choose intentionally to rejoice and be glad in it.
Every day, all day, every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
You have to set the course.
You have to.
You must set the course of your day. If you don't set the course for your day, then you have what you say.
Yeah, we got to be intentional.
Right.
I mean, especially now and moving forward, we got to be intentional, Coach. Right. We have to be intentional. And, you know, how we set our day, how we start our day is most likely how we will go through our day and, you know, in our day. Right. And we're in control. We're in control of our emotions and our thoughts. But we still invite God in and say, you know, God, order my steps.
Yeah, you can't do it without Him.
Let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable and pleasing to your sight, Father God. And so you have to start that day off and giving Him first fruit of your day and setting that course, like you said, setting that course.
You know, and we've been talking about your journey to wellness, and today we're talking about behavior change.
Yes.
If you haven't been on this journey with us, we first talked about your why and your desire and how to establish that. We also talked about last week resolve to reset, actually putting actions towards the different dimensions of wellness. So if you didn't catch those broadcasts, go back on our Facebook or YouTube and catch those broadcasts. You can get our Facebook at Get Fit with Jackie. Fitness at Facebook, and you can also go on our YouTube channel at Help Matters Jackie and Coach. Help Matters Jackie and Coach, and look at those broadcasts. But this morning we're going to be talking about behavior change. But I said that to say this: positive. That's part of being positive. Is part of helping you to change your behavior, make those behavior changes that you need to make that are conducive to your health journey. Just being positive. You can wake up and you can look at everything. That even turning on the TV sometimes early in the morning. You may not need to do that first. Make that connection to our Father that first thing you get up in the morning, and make some confessions about how you want your day to go. In a positive manner, and then just watch your course. Watch your course how things go.
Self-affirmations, and that's one thing. Find things that you're grateful for. And we always like that, we started to doing on Help Matters. What are you grateful for? What are some of the things that you are grateful for?
That's right.
And, and I think about that every day. I just, first and foremost, I thank God for just waking me up this morning, keeping me, sustaining me, preserving me today, giving me the breath of life, just the very breath that I breathe.
That's powerful within itself.
Being
acknowledging
here.
God for that.
Yes, yeah. And that I'm always grateful for that. And then additional my family, and those in our lives that pour into our lives, and just being grateful to be able to do what we do, to be able to be here with my family. So life is precious, so I'm grateful for that, so that's humbling myself every day before God and just being grateful. Just being grateful. So think about what you're grateful for. It's nothing too small or too big that you can't be grateful for. There is something, find something in your life that you're grateful for. Like I said, he's like, I don't know. Just the very breath that you're breathing this morning, that's enough to be grateful for.
Most definitely. And then just, speaking positive, as we start our day, it helps us to prepare ourselves to be that vessel, that God can use. Right. Because you never know who God's going to send by your direction, and he wants your mindset, you to be right in order to send people that need to be fed his word, on a daily basis, so you can be that vessel, and that's a privilege, that when God uses you to speak into people's lives, or to encourage people, or to help them get over some type of hurdle or things like that. We have to put action behind what we're believing for.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just prayer. Sometimes we may need to actually physically help somebody, maybe with a ride, or maybe financially, or something like that. But, it starts with prayer, Yeah. All right.
Yeah, get before God.
Praise
But yeah,
God.
we can continue this conversation on. But it's just so, because, our soul knows right well, and so you just don't know who God's going to put on your heart today to call, or like you say, Coach, bless someone. So that's why it's always good to start your day off. Start it off right. Set me in my right mind. Yeah, my mom used to say that God woke me up and he set me in my right mind.
And the thing about it, then when he puts us on that path, then he makes straight the path.
Yes.
He makes straight the path. So meaning that, it may be some bumps and things on the road, but he makes it straight. So, when we're being positive, when we're focused, and when we're excited about what God is going to do in our day today, then he'll make straight the path.
Praise God.
Amen. All right. So happy birthday to everybody that's celebrating an awesome birthday in this month of January. My sister Brenda, she's celebrating her birthday. This month, our pastor, Dr. Michael Mitchell, Restoration Ministries, he's celebrating his birthday this month. So we're looking forward to celebrating him on his birthday. And a good friend of ours, and a dream. What she's our dream team, part of our dream team. Deborah McDaniel. Happy birthday to Deborah.
She's celebrating her birthday.
Deborah does some awesome things.
And congratulations to her new grandbaby.
Oh,
she just had another, so she's a grandmother of three now. Yes. So that's good. Yeah. So yes, that's good. So she's right there now. She's, hey, Deborah. She's on Facebook now.
And happy anniversary to us. We're celebrating our 42nd anniversary. So we're enjoying that. My wife for life and friend to the end. You've heard me say it before.
Yes.
She's my best friend.
Hello, and, Mobile.
We enjoy spending time and being with each other and becoming one.
Thank you. Hello, Mobile. My cousin Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
Lewis. Staying busy.
Miss Green Thumb.
Yes, she's a green thumb. She is a green thumb. Hi, Mobile.
But she's more than a green thumb. I'm pretty sure she's putting the word.
I learned so much from her. I learned so much from her. Yeah. So it's in our genes. It's in our genes to be the way we are.
Most definitely.
The holistic gift that was in our grandmothers.
Right. So happy birthday, happy anniversary to everybody. And we're going to acknowledge our sponsors, our partners, our friends. Aiken Chiropractic, Dr. Dan. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9119. On their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. If you need chiropractic care, make sure you get in touch with Dr. Dan. To be a sponsor, to be a partner or friend of this broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862. And you can help us do what we do. And there are many packages if you would like to broadcast and advertise and invest in your business. You can advertise on a daily basis with some packages that the radio station offers. If you would like to get more information about that, you can call 803-649-6405. So there's many packages that the radio station offers for sponsorship and advertisement packages that will really get your brand out there. We cover over 16 counties in the CSRA, Georgia, Carolina. So if you want to get your brand out there, this is the place to do it.
Yes, and I think we forgot Elaine Gigi.
Oh yeah,
She's
that's right.
celebrating her birthday.
Elaine Jones, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you. So we hope you're out there listening, or you'll listen later. And happy birthday to you.
Enjoy your day.
Over 80 years old.
That's
yes,
right.
Praise God. That's
All
a
right.
blessing. That's a
Glory
blessing.
to God.
But guys, we would love for you guys to join us, whether you're on Facebook or you want to call in and dialogue with us. You know, share with us your journey to wellness story. What are some things that you're moving forward in? What are some things that you're adjusting? What are some of the things that you are modifying? What are some of the things that you are changing? What are some of the things that are no longer serving you, that you didn't bring in 2026 and that you're changing? And how is that working for you? How is it working for you right now? We're what, 17 days
17
into
days
this
in.
month, almost gone.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so share with us. The number you can call is 803-226-0041 or 0043. I'm going to repeat that. 803-226-0041 or 0043. We will love to hear from you, whether you're calling from another state where you're listening to us from, Augusta, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, wherever you calling from. Come and call in, share your story, or share it with us through Facebook or YouTube. We would love to hear from you. And how is your journey going this, on the road to a healthier you? How is your journey going?
All right, so Jack, let's get into this topic for this morning. We're still on that journey to wellness. We're talking about behavior change. Wow.
Yes.
That's a big
that's where it starts.
Behavior change, because we're talking about the process of modifying your actions, the process of modifying your habits or attitudes to achieve your personal goals, which is important to improve your health. It may be to improve your health, to improve yourself, or just to address some issues or challenges that you have in your life to help you understand why you act as you do. And that is very important.
It is,
so we have to attack those behaviors that crop up, that are triggered by certain things or certain people, or when we're in our life, that causes us to do a certain thing. So we have to really have to identify those things. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 23:7 that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So to get something different, then we have to think differently.
Right.
It all starts in the mind.
It does. That's what transformation starts, in the mind. Right. And our pastor talked about last Sunday, that paradigm shift. That mindset has to change. Even going into 2026, we all know something has shifted. We all know something has changed. So we got to have a paradigm shift mindset. That means we have to be willingly to change, because how we thought and how we spoke and how we moved in 2025 is going to be different how we move forward in 2026. And that's a big change for a lot of people. But is it done overnight? No, it isn't. Like Coach said, you got to identify these things. First, you got to identify it. Identify what triggers, because triggers can come from different places, Coach, from people, an environment, a thing. It can be a picture. It can be a memory, So when that trigger comes up to cause you to go into a negative mindset, you have to ask yourself why. Where is this coming from? And when you do that, that's when you just kind of like, hey, God, help me to identify this. What's going on here? Why do I feel this way? Why does that spark something negative in me? And then of course we talked about coping mechanisms. So as soon as those triggers come up, what we do?
What you're reaching for? Right.
What are we reaching for? Is it are we emotionally eating, or is it other things that we do?
Drugs, alcohol.
We're gonna name it. So what are we doing? So guess what? And most of the time, coping mechanisms are negative. They're
Mm-hmm.
not good for you. They're
Right.
bad habits, you know.
Right.
So we have to kind of identify those things, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where it starts at. Because if you don't change the mindset, you know, the behavior will repeat itself, because you're not changing the way you're thinking. Because if you're not changing the way you're thinking, you're not changing the way you're speaking.
Right. And then, you know, and that comes with practice. I mean, it really does. You have to, on purpose, you know, tell yourself, well, I'm not going to do that this time when that thing is triggered, whatever that may be. But you talked about renewal of the mind and transformation of the mind, and that's critical, you know, in this daily life, in everything. You know, when we're trying to change something in our life that we've identified that is not good for us or whatever, transformation is everything, and it all starts in the mind. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 tells us, I'm gonna read it from the Amplified version. It says, and do not be conformed to this world, meaning any longer with its superficial values and customs. You know, that's what we have to understand, those superficial values, just what things look like on the surface. We got to get beyond the surface. We got to get to deep things when we're talking about changing behaviors. You know, because that's just like if the spring is coming up and weeds in your yards are going to start flocking up and cropping up. If you just go and on the surface and pull that weed out, you haven't done with the root. So the problem is still there. You know, so that thing is still, when it's watered, you know, when it's triggered, it's going to come back up. You know, so in order to deal with the root of issues in your life, you know, you got to transform your mind about what you're trying to do. Now, let me get back to the scripture. It says, but be transformed and progressively change. Progressively change. Because it's a process.
It's a continuing. That's why the journey is, I mean to cut you off. You
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. It's a continuing journey. It's infinitum. It never will change. We're still becoming. Like my book says, we are still becoming.
That's right.
You know, we got the starting point and we got the end point. And so many times we're focusing on that destination. But really the journey is a direction.
Right.
It's a direction in becoming.
And that's where the growth and development takes place.
And we can't miss that. We can't miss that. What did you say at the beginning? You know, in all our ways we acknowledge God, and He directs what? The path. He makes it straight. He makes it straight. He directs that. So it's a direction. You know, He orders our steps. So on that journey, we're gonna face what? Setbacks. We're gonna run into some things.
Trials and tribulation, they only make us better.
But the mindset will say, oh wow, I'm a failure. Oh, I can't do this. But if we look at it from a different perspective, guess what? Okay, what am I to learn right here? What is this message and what is this lesson right here? Because what we don't understand, when we try to jump from the starting line all the way to the destination, we miss everything in the middle.
Right, that you're going to need.
That we need.
When you do get to that result.
To sustain. What we are getting.
Right, let me get back to the scripture.
Okay, go ahead.
So, says progressively change as you mature spiritually. There you go. As you mature spiritually. So in that journey, on that path, you're maturing. You're developing. So those things make you better. By the renewing of your mind, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, so that you may prove for yourself what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect in His plan and purpose for you. Praise God for His plan and purpose for me. Praise God for His plan and purpose for you, because He does have a plan and purpose for you. But you got to get connected. You got to stay connected, and you got to be intimate with God. You got to pray. You got to, you know, study His word to see your will and see your purpose in His word. Because what you're pretty much passionate about is really leaning you towards your purpose anyway. You know, so you just got to align it with what God has for you. And you'll be able to change some things in your life. I want to remind you again that you can call in at 803-226-0041 or 0043. Just know that, hey, we want to hear your views and opinions on what we're talking about. Your journey to wellness. And wellness is many dimensions, not just physical, okay? You got environmental, you got relationship things. So call, tell us what's going on. on your wellness journey, if you're focusing on better relationships, if you're focusing on getting a better relationship with God, if you're focusing on getting a better relationship with money, because I'm telling you, those three things, faith, finances, and fitness, they require you to put some effort towards it if you want some change. And it will require you to do some mind renewal.
Yes, okay. Now I'm going back because see, I felt something there, Coach, when you was talking about that. When you
we ain't
saying,
even got to know
no,
that, but
and
okay.
conform. I like the word don't be conformed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you think about conform, that means you're agreeing. You are coming into agreement with what the world is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're behaving as the world. You know, and God said we're in the world, but we what? Not of the world. Right. We are salt of this earth. So I just want to kind of highlight the conform, you know, so we are not to be conformed
mm-hmm.
to the things of it. And, you know, that means we're in it, but we're not conformed. So we should look different. We're peculiar. We're set apart, you know. So I just wanted to, you know, to express that, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. It's like I said, and that's where change take place in the mindset, because if it starts in the mind, you know, because once you transform the mind, like let's go to the practical wisdom. The brain is going to do what the brain is going to do, and it doesn't like change. So when you try to think about when you're trying to change something, it's not as easy. Mm-hmm. It's a process. It's a learning process.
Because your flesh is used to doing something a certain way.
Right. And so you've been accustomed to doing something this way, and your brain going like, wait a minute, you don't used to take that route to work. Mm-hmm. And you go this way. So now I'm telling the brain, okay, but you got to do it consistently enough so it can become a default. Like, okay, now this is what you're doing. So okay, so you got to do the work. So you got to create these newer, healthier pathways. You know, to thinking positive, talking positive. Whenever a negative thought come up, replace it with a what? Positive thought. Mm-hmm. That takes what? Practice.
Right, and time. So becoming a healthier you, to be the best you that you can be, it requires behavior change.
Right.
Okay? We have to understand that whatever area of your life that you're trying to make better is going to require behavior change. Changing your behavior, it can be hard, as we've been talking about. It can be challenging, you know, but just understand that it is a process. And every day won't be perfect, but every day does have purpose. Yeah. And you have to, you know, filter through that day to see what that purpose is. What is God doing here? What is God showing you here? You know, so don't look at things as failure when things don't go exactly as you thought it would be. But no, just know that day too has purpose. And that's why it's so good to journal on your journey, right? Yeah. So it's so important to do that, you know, in that process, using strategies like, you know, self-control. You got to take that self-control back, because that's what it's all about.
Fruit of the Spirit.
You know, if you're being led by the flesh, then guess what? You'll tend to do the things of the flesh. But if you're led by the Spirit, you do the things of the Spirit. So you have to regain that self-control.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
And let's go back to that, Coach, when we talk about that middle. You know, I've been talking about that this week. What takes place in the middle, mm-hmm. you know, and that's where transformation happen at. You know, so there may be a place, and you get like, we call it setbacks or stuck. Mm-hmm. You know, and maybe that's where, okay, I need to be right here, and that's why I said what I need to learn right here. What do I need to gain here? Right. You know, what is this lesson right here? Because moving forward, I'm going to need this. And that I call that the building process, mm-hmm. you know, brick by brick, stone by stone. So I'm on this journey. I may hit a setback, mm-hmm. you know. So, okay, now I got to say, okay, let's just looking at, we have to really look at it from a positive perspective, mm-hmm. you know, because we as humans, we automatically go to something negative, something is wrong. Mm-hmm. But let's look at this from a positive perspective, you know, right. and make it work for us. Let me make this work for me.
Right. And then come up with solutions.
There you go.
Right.
Come up with something. Okay, what can I? Because
when you identify things.
On that middle we got what? Resilient. We're learning resilience.
That bounce back.
That bounce back. We're learning self-control. We're learning discipline. We're learning consistency. All that stuff is in that middle. Right. Because when I get here, so we're so focused on the destination, but no, you got to focus on the journey, right. The direction to the destination.
Right. And on that path, on that destination, on that journey process, whatever you want to call it, that's where you gain your experience. And that's what it's all about. Because when you go through something, now you know how to attack it if it ever comes up again. So now you build another block. Because you know how to come over that block. Right. So you have to build that foundation. Without a foundation, if you run into things, if you don't have a foundation to fall back on, then everything's going to fall apart. So yeah, the foundation is the mind renewal, it's the thinking different, is the positive reinforcement, because all of those things are going to increase your chances of sustaining the new behavior. You don't want to go through all of these changes and all of these challenges and then don't be able to sustain, what you're doing. To that very thing that created that new behavior, you're not able to sustain it because you didn't put in the work up front and the effort up front in order to sustain it. Jackie, let's talk quickly about that theoretical model, what we call the stages of change. And everybody moves through this process. Right. A psychologist by the name of Prochaska and De Clemente, they invented this thing called the stages of change, or the Transtheoretical Model, where there are 6 stages that people often move through when they're going through behavior change, no matter what area. One of them, the first stage, is called the pre-contemplation stage. In the pre-contemplation stage, people in that stage, they've researched and said that they have no intent to change. Yeah. Now, we've seen people in that stage, as coaches, and been doing what we've been doing for a long time. Pre-contemplation stage means that person has no intention to change in their foreseeable future, even though they know that there are some things that they need to change. And guess what? That's okay.
It's okay. And you got to be okay with it.
Right. Because you can identify, okay, this is where I'm at. I know I need to do something, but I don't want to change right now. I don't want to put forth the effort. You're being honest with yourself.
And they may not be ready yet. Exactly.
And you may need to be coached through that. Some support outside of yourself to help you get through that.
Right.
So then you have that contemplation stage, where you get a person to, or yourself, you get to a place to where you're thinking about change.
Yes.
You know the benefits of it and things of that nature, and you're aware of the problem that you may be having because the doctor has told you you need to make some changes in your physical health or whatever it be. So you're considering the change. You put a date on the calendar, in 3 weeks I'm going to change, or in 2 weeks I'm going to change, or whatever. But that's that contemplation. You're thinking about it. And then the third phase is the preparation stage. That means that you are planning to act. Remember, I talked to you about that foundation. You're building some things. You're setting some goals. You're looking at your schedule. So you're getting ready to do some things. And then that next stage after that, which is the 4th stage, is action. You're actually, putting these things to work. You're in the process. You're on that journey, and you're making that change.
Right.
And guess what? When you get that change, then there's another phase you go into, which is the maintenance phase, because now we want to sustain the change that we've made.
Right.
All right. So up until this time, we've seen the pre-contemplation stage, contemplation, preparation, action, and the maintenance phase. And the maintenance phase is what's going to get you, though.
Yeah.
Because now everything you've learned, if you've truly made changes, in progress on the slow path, then you'll be able to maintain it and sustain it. If not, you'll go into that 6th stage, which is a relapse, returning back to those old habits. Now, I know you want to talk about that, Jackie, because you always talk about how when we do, make these new behaviors or new habits, old things don't go away. It's just that we're doing the new things now, and we're doing the new things all the time because it just lays dormant in your flesh.
Yes.
And if your flesh is still strong in those areas, then it can still be triggered.
Yes.
But if you have actually, changed that behavior, it can be still there, but the new behavior now overpowers it.
Yeah, because
so
you
it's
continue
no
to
longer
add
the greater.
better habits. You
Right.
continue to add habits. You continue to add newer habits, better habits to that. So I'm going to read something. This is from Wonder from Mobile. My 2026 change, intentional daily prayer. Number 2, exercise, walk 5 days a week. 3, study the word. Complete projects already started. Faith, finance, and fitness. I love this. And that's it. So, you know.
That's my trademark now.
That's his trademark. Hey, he said, all right. So, but, and that's so true, but we talked about, like you say, the relapse. We can have setbacks.
Right.
But we got to continue. That's when we setback. Remember I said we're on that journey, and you know, we may have a setback, or we may have, okay, what's going on right here? You know, that's why you got to continue to keep that flesh under. That's just like the word. You got to stay in the word.
That's right.
You got to stay in the word.
That's right.
Because if you're not staying in the word, we feed the spirit with the word. We got to stay in the word. So you got to continue to build your spirit man up. So you got to continue to feed those bad behaviors, those the good behaviors. Because if you stop, you're gonna find yourself what? Right back into the same behaviors that you was doing before. We see it every day with people. You right back doing the things that you was doing. That's why I tell people, start where you at. You behaving some way already. So just add one habit, new good habit at a time.
Right. Something small.
Something small. Start small increment habits, one at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. The brain cannot handle all that at one time. So it's one thing at a time, one habit at a time, brick by brick, stone by stone. So you got to continue to feed yourself positive affirmation, positive word, and continue to feed yourself positive habit. That means I have to put good things around me. I have to put fruits and vegetables around me. I have to, my environment is going to, your environment would change you before you change it. So I had to create an environment that is inviting, that agrees with my new what? Behavior.
Right.
So you got to create that. Right. You are in, that go back to self-control. You're in control of that environment. Some of them you're not in control of. You can go to work, and we always talk about the cookies and the donuts, you know. Okay, and you know, and here go that behavior trying to creep his head up like, ooh, you know. So guess what? How do I handle that? How do I handle that? How do I avoid it? Separate yourself from it. Okay, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to do something different. And it'll eventually, the craving will eventually go away. It'll go away. Drink some water. Eat something different. It will eventually go away. It will. Because craving does come up. It does pop up. But if you starve it enough.
That's flesh.
If you starve it enough, if you starve that flesh long enough, it'll like, okay, she ain't give it in. He ain't give it in. I'm just going to go on back. It'll give up.
So talking to you about the stages of change, just real quickly: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse is possible. You know, if you don't get to that sustainment phase. But, you know, this model here is going to require you to really be honest, you know, with yourself as it pertains to your readiness to change. All right. So you have to be really, really honest with yourself on that. Now, life coaches like Jack and I, it helps us, this model helps us to customize and recognize and create a strategy to fit your specific needs. So, you know, that's what we do as coaches. We try to figure out where you're at on this stage of change model. Then recognizing that most people aren't ready to act immediately, and that's okay, you know, because you try to get up to that point. Because like you said, it's all about flesh. And when your flesh is ruling in certain areas, you got to kill it. And you got to kill that flesh when it's ruling in certain areas.
Can I interject a little bit, Coach?
Yeah, let me say this one last thing, then you go. And we have to remember that wellness is not a one-size-fit-all approach, and progress isn't always straightforward. It's not always clear. So what the plans and things that you make for your journey, you may not see that desired result at the end, but that's okay. Because you've been journaling and because of the things that you've been through on your journey, you know what you need to modify. You made the plan in the beginning, so you make the modifications at the end if you don't reach that result. I planned on losing 10 pounds in 3 months, but I only lost 5 pounds. All right, so what did I do? What did I didn't do? Now let me make some adjustments and let me, readjust and stay on my journey and get the rest of this.
Yeah, and that's why it's a direction. Don't focus on the destination. Right. Focus on the direction. But I just wanted to say, when you said that a person, they may not, and we have had that, they just not ready yet. When I say we have to be okay with that, we got to meet them where they're at. Mentally, they're not ready. They're just not ready because change takes place here. And so when they're not ready, they may be at a stage in their life, right. And we have to respect that and show grace to that. Right. So no condemnation,
because that's not gonna make it better for them.
Exactly, no condemnation, no condemning, no judgment. Right. When you're ready,
because we're trying to build you up.
Yeah. Exactly, and it is our job as life coaches to recognize that they are not ready. Right. It's like you try to overconsume someone with so much information. Is like they're not ready for that yet. They're not ready for the word micronutrients. They're not ready. We use those terms as fitness and health coach and nutritionists. We use those terms because we can relate to one another. But the average person just starting, we use layman terms. We meet them where they're at.
Right.
And so once we try to talk over their head, now you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them.
So yeah. Here's what's happening here. When you decide to do something different or new, guess what? Your flesh looks at it as giving up something. So, that's why the decision is difficult to make for a lot of people, because your flesh is looking at it as you're giving up something. And that's when the battle begins, Jackie. That's when the battle really begins, because now, your mind or your thinking feels the pain. It feels the pain of losing something, and that pain is more powerful to you anyway, to your flesh, than the thought of gaining something.
Wow.
Now that is really a strong emotion called loss aversion. It's called loss aversion. That's a strong emotion that happens within your body when you're trying to start making change. That fight, that internal struggle, right? Like you said. But to overcome this emotion and obtain the benefit of the new behavior is going to take time, as we've been talking about it, and sustained effort. So we have this same struggle in our faith walk. We have the same struggle in our finances. We have the same struggle in our fitness. And I just bring that up because when Wanda said it, the faith, the finances, and fitness, I use that a lot because when we're trying to change our faith, when we're trying to not change our faith, but when we're trying to come into being a person of faith,
faith.
when we have a mission to do something with our finances or our fitness, it requires effort, because it's going to require a change in us. When we receive Jesus as our Lord and Savior, that's going to require us repenting. That's going to require us turning, 180-degree direction and doing something different and trying to live for Him. So it's going to require effort for us to get in faith and be a person of faith, and live a holy life as best we can. When it comes to finances, you're not going to be young all your life. You're not going to be a strong young person where you're willing to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get off at 5 o'clock in the evening for the rest of your life. At some point, you're going to have to depend on God. He's the source, but you're also going to have to make sure that you put some finances in place so that you can come away from that 9 to 5 and still have a life, an enjoyable life, where you have the finances, where you can pay your bills and do the things that you need to do and enjoy life. In fitness, wellness, if you want that, you got to put effort into it. You got to change some lifestyle things and, get to moving, be physically active, look at your diet and what you're eating. So I always bring up those three things because it requires effort for us to obtain something in those three different areas.
Yes. And, and you got to put the effort. When Coach saying the effort, you're going to have to put, and you got to be consistent. Because the brain looks for consistency, it looks for consistency. And I always, like I said, if you starve the flesh long enough, it'll submit. See, we have to take back control of our health. We have to reclaim our health. Remember, we're a tripart being. Mm-hmm. We are spirit, we have a body, we live in a soul. And so, that body is going to pull from whatever is the strongest, mm-hmm. whether it's the flesh or whether it's the spirit.
Telling you.
So you're going to have to, on purpose, renew your mind.
Right.
And from the practical sense, you're going to have to self-educate yourself. You're going to have to make changes, small changes. It's some things you may have to move out of your personal environment, mm-hmm. that triggers, because it triggers certain things, triggers bad behaviors. Mm-hmm. Certain people triggers bad behavior. And we're not telling ourselves the truth. And when we come upon a certain person that just irks us, it triggers something. Mm-hmm. But you got the on purpose to put that flesh down. Mm-hmm. And you have to. And the same thing with food. If you come on, you're looking at a commercial, and they do that for a reason. They do it for a reason. They show them McDonald's commercials. They show all this Popeye commercial. Before you know it, you in line at McDonald's or you in the line at Popeyes. I ain't got nothing against it.
It goes back to desire. If they can get you to desire it, you're going to require it to acquire it. It goes back to desire,
That's it. And so now you done desired that thing. You done meditated on that thing all week, looking at television and looking at it. And now you're like, oh, man, I got a taste for some
I know the Big Mac done got me plenty of times.
I got a Big Mac on fish fillet, And there's nothing wrong with doing those things in small moderations and also occasionally. Now, some people just don't. They just don't do it. Okay? So that's just it. They just don't do it. And you don't condemn nobody for nothing. The Bible says you don't judge nobody for what they're eating. So we don't do that. That's the individual person. Right. But you find yourself, man, I just didn't want it. I didn't seen that thing on TV. Mm. So that's what I'm trying to say. Certain things in your environment trigger. So it's you control the personal things in your environment. So you would have to remove those things. My grandbabies came over, and my granddaughter, she's just gonna come out and say it, and she was saying, J-Mom, you don't have no good snacks in here. I said, yes, I do. I said, there's some apples in there and some bananas. I got some, these certain fig bars I buy. They only have about 4 ingredients in. She said, and then so I had different nuts in there, and just all the things that I had up in there, the pomegranates. And so she was like, but that ain't no snack. I said, yes, they are. Mm-hmm. She said, so I said, well, J-Mom, just, changing some things. And so we just kind of keep those out, of sight. So just go in there. So she went in there. She said, well, can I just have some? She went in the pantry. Well, I can just have some raisin bran. I said, girl.
That's why she was eating them raisin bran the other day.
Because she couldn't find nothing.
Well, she usually eats good, though.
She does. All of them do. All of them, especially
she just had a sweet tooth.
And
that's what we're talking about.
She had a moment.
Yes.
She had a moment. And they had it in there. So she went in there and got her raisins and pulled some extra raisins. In the raisin bran. Okay. She said, so she was fine after that.
See, and that's the thing. We're talking about the flesh now, and the flesh is something you just like, when you have to wean a baby off of milk, to get them on food. You got to wean that flesh off of some things.
Yes,
and the flesh is going to talk to you.
Oh,
the flesh is going to talk back to you. Like Jackie say, when those commercials come on and those thoughts coming up in your head, that's the flesh telling you, you want that. Go ahead and get it. Just get a little piece of it or whatever. That's that flesh talking to you. You got to talk back to that flesh.
Yeah, but
let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
You got to talk back to that flesh, and you got to wean that flesh off of some things too. Just like when our children was young, our children are young. I mean, our children are grown and they got babies. We got grandbabies now. But when they were young, we used to tell them, we going into this store. Don't ask for nothing. Don't look at nothing. Don't put your hand on nothing because you ain't getting nothing. And that's how you have to be with that flesh, especially at work. Sometimes, you got your break rooms and you got all this food set up in your break rooms and stuff like that. And you got to go through that maybe to use the restroom, or you got to go through that maybe to see somebody do some work. And those donuts over there calling your name and that coffee smelling good back there and all of these things are going on. And you have to tell the flesh, listen, we going back here in this break room. I'm going back here because this is what I got to do, and you ain't getting nothing. You're not getting anything. But now, if you want that donut, you tell them, okay, we're going to get one donut for you today, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
Now, you have to talk back to that flesh. Don't let people see you doing it because they may think something wrong with you. And like you have to.
Yeah, like you said, if you're not disciplined enough to just have one cookie and just, you may want to say, I'm just going to go eat my fruit, because some people are just not, and we're not saying don't eat these things. These are things that we do occasionally, but it's what you do consistently is the problem. So we can't, we can't continue. We have to give our digestive system time to rest. And sometimes we don't do that. We don't give our digestive system time to adjust, especially as we age. And coaches and I, we're at the age, and most of us, we're at the age. And some of the young ones, they think they're just, you're going to age eventually. What you do now will affect later. So it's best to start early, early in life, having that discipline. Not saying that.
And create that in your children.
And create those habits early in life with your children. Don't sit here, because sometimes when you can be so restricted, that can become unhealthy, and they can have an unhealthy relationship with food. So we want to have a healthy relationship with food. That means I am in control of this. So not getting overly out of control, out of order, because we have to eat. We have to eat, and you want to enjoy yourself sometime, so, but make sure, how often are you enjoying yourself? It is not too consistent, but it is occasionally, and that's okay.
And you stay in control.
Yes,
you don't allow that flesh to get in control.
Yeah, we got Mobile in the house. I got my nephew on. Hey, Rashad.
Hey, Rashad.
How you doing?
So your willpower alone won't get it done. And that's what we've been saying. That's why we've been putting the word on this thing, because your willpower alone would not get it. God says to acknowledge him, and we have to acknowledge him in everything that we do. I think it's Proverbs 3:6 says to acknowledge me in all your ways, and I will. That's what goes back. I will make your path straight. And that's good news. So we have to know that God is the source, and nothing's too small, nothing's too little for him not to get involved with. He wants to be involved with everything.
Yes.
So we have to get him involved in it.
Even in the food and in the fork.
Right. You have to do it. Attempting to overcome, unwanted, those habit loops. That's all they are. By self-control effort, it'll often fail if you're just trying to do it on yourself. You're going to need some support. You're going to need the power of God to help you get through some things. When we're doing things by our own self-control, all of those things are usually motivated by, extrinsic like motivated behaviors, like external rewards. You're getting money for something, or you're getting something for something, or it could be by external punishment, right? Or it could be external punishment that's driving your motivation to do things. And
motivation alone is not going to keep you moving on the journey. That's like Coach said, it's not. I like to call it like a match. It needs something. That's when we go back to that qualified why. Why are you doing this?
Right.
What the why to the what.
There you go.
Because that is what's going to continue to fuel or continue to keep the motivation. And I like the momentum moving, creating that rhythm, because we can get, get so caught in routine.
Right. And
just get comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you just create a rhythm. Create a rhythm. It's good to have routines, but create that rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And just continue to have that momentum to move forward, and also having that drive and that desire and that why to tell you, okay, when you hit a setback or you get stagnant right here, to say, okay, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that I have not stopped. So the rhythm continue to move, the momentum continue to move. Willpower alone is just not going to work, because if that's the case, everybody would
It'd be good to go.
Be good to go.
Right.
And we know that. And we know people have relapse. We know some people don't bounce back from the relapse. So and that's where we gain the resilience at. That's on the road of the direction of wellness, that journey. You got that resilience. Now I have that bounce back, I call them moments.
Right.
I'm having moments in the middle.
Right.
Moments in the middle. So don't make them milestones in the middle, but make them moments, so you can be successful when you do reach that destination, or reach that goal that you're trying to do. But yeah, motivation alone is not going to keep you going.
Well, the thing of it is, you have no motivation without desire.
That's it.
Because your desire drives the motivation. The desire drives the motivation. If I have a desire to really change and do something different in whatever area, remember, we're talking about wellness. We're just not talking about the physical wellness component of it. We're talking about overall wellness.
Right.
So whatever area, as it pertains to your wellness, mental health, spiritual health, financial health, all of these different things, that's what we're talking about as it pertains to behavior change. Now, I wrote down 3 keys, Jackie, to achieving behavior change, and you kind of mentioned one of them about, us making choices. That's autonomy. Means engaging in behavior by choice. You taking that control back. You make the choice. Don't allow yourself to be ruled by your flesh. No, I am taking the wheel back, flesh. Move over, get in the passenger seat, or you could sit in the back seat, but I'm taking back over, to get some things back in order. And the second one is self-efficacy. That's believing in your own capacity to succeed. See, yeah, we believe in God, but you have to believe in yourself too, because God's going to do the super, but we have to do the natural. If we don't do the natural part of it, then, what are we giving God to work with? When we do the natural part, then God is involved from day one. He's going to do the super. We have a supernatural outcome. But you got to believe in yourself that you have the capacity to succeed. You have the capacity to succeed because why? I've already acknowledged God in this thing, and He's with me, and He's going to help me through it.
Yes.
And that final key was competence. Autonomy, self-efficacy, and competence. Having the ability. Competence is having the ability. You have the knowledge, you have the skill, and you have the capacity to do something successfully and efficiently. So you have the competence to do it. Search it out, seek it out. Seek the kingdom first, and His righteousness, and all of these things will be added to me.
Put in the effort.
Desire.
To put in the effort in. We got to put these things. We practice things every day. What are we not practicing? Because we coming to an end.
Right.
Ask yourself. I mean, you practicing something already. You are. But ask yourself, what am I practicing? Is it serving me? Is it making me better? Is it making me, happy? Is it bringing me peace? Is it bringing me rest? Is it if it's not bringing me unrest? If it's not serving me? If it's not doing me
adding to you.
It's not adding to me, but it's subtracting to me. That's all I can say. You have to look at that. Look at it and tell yourself the truth. And that's the most important thing you can do is tell yourself the truth.
We will get a call at the end, but we got to get out of here, y'all. Stay tuned for the Concerned Ministers Fellowship, guys. You Matter is coming up right after us, Pastor Bush. Saturdays with Sean is coming up at 8 a.m. Midday Motivations with Alicia G is coming up at 11 a.m. And Tony D at 6 p.m. coming with us. weekly shows, Minister Deborah Pearson, Morning Praise, Pastor Small, Morning Praise Devotion, Community Matters on Mondays, Mary Harris, Afternoon Praise Cafe at 12. Minister Arlene is talking it up at 3 p.m. During the week. Dinner with the Flock at 5 p.m. during the week. Minister Reginald Forrest, Education Matters on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pastor O'Neill, Transforming Lives, Thursdays on 11 a.m. And then Pastor Small and Sister Gwen Small is back with us on Fridays, 11 a.m. Community Matters.
And guys, we'd like to thank you for listening to Help Matters here on Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth. Remember, we're here to help you to become a better you that you can be. We always like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Guys, remember, guys, always sow and show an act of kindness, because you never know when the act of kindness may be extended back to you. We love you at Matters, God. Remember, you matter and your help matter. We love you. Stay warm, guys, and stay safe. See you later. Help is doing it. You just exercise your hair up in the spirit you need.
All right, Facebook, YouTube.
Hey,
thank you guys so much
YouTube.
for hanging in
Thank
with
you
us.
guys.
We'll see
Give
you
us
next
your
week.
comments. We hope you enjoyed the show. We could have kept going, but guess what? We got the respect, time, and space. But we love you guys.
Goodbye.
Continue. Remember, we love you. Thank you, Mobile, for showing up today.
All right.
Deborah, all of you guys. Thank you, Brittany. I think it was Brittany. Yeah,
right,
Brittany. Thank you. Brittany, yeah. Thank you, guys. See you later.